Welcome to this Canada Specialist Program webinar. Our first presenter today is Sean from Tourism Yukon. Sean, please take it away.
Thanks very much, Charlie. Hello again, everyone. Really great to be here and share some information with you on the Yukon. As we say, Yukon larger than life. Now, just to give you a little bit of an orientation on the Yukon, many of you may have been to the Yukon before, or at least been to Canada before, but we've all been in lockdown and various things, so it's nice to kind of do a bit of an orientation again. The Yukon is a northern territory of Canada. It's right up against Alaska and very close to the Arctic Circle. In fact, parts of the Yukon are in the Arctic Circle. We are 2.2 hours from Vancouver. Air North is Yukon's local airline and also serviced by Air Canada as well. It's worth noting though that because of the disruption due to the pandemic, it's definitely a good idea to check the flight schedules and to see what the availability is. But I believe Air North is definitely flying daily from Vancouver, so that's great. Of course, as we know, to Canada, 15.5-hour flight time. And the primary gateway cities are Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton. Essentially, Vancouver is the city that most people will arrive from. But if you're doing a longer Canada trip, then it's definitely worth noting that we do actually have other gateway cities where you can fly into the Yukon. So also in the Yukon, just the major centres. Whitehorse, the Wilderness City, is a major centre. As I said, that's the primary gateway. But also Dawson City is also very, very popular. Klondike National Park. And then, of course, we have our cruise, sea, land packages and so forth, which quite often feature Whitehorse and Dawson City. When we say the Wilderness City, really it's a town. It has 28,000 people. But really it does feel like a town. You find the locals very welcoming. We have a great range of hotels and lodges in the surrounding areas and also in town, and lots of great product as well. So that's one of the things about the Yukon and Whitehorse, is that there's a lot to do. And that's super important. It's not just about the Northern Lights, not just about the iconic activities, but there's a wide variety of different things to do. But of course, the Northern Lights is definitely a highlight. And that is during the August to mid-April, so the key sort of winter periods and also into fall and also springtime as well, we have a bit of Northern Lights. We do definitely recommend you spend at least, I would say at least 4 nights in the Yukon. The reason why is because we can't guarantee the Northern Lights will always be visible. But if you do stay for at least 5 nights, the chances are extremely high that you will see the Northern Lights. So that's also important. Most of the tours are based in Whitehorse, but we also now have some in Dawson City. It's also important to remember that it's late at night. So quite often your guests or yourselves may not be returning back to the accommodation until about 2 a.m. We have various viewing sites, which are fantastic. There's yurts, cabins, and it's really great because, with the weather in the Yukon in wintertime, it can be very cold. So the -20 degrees Celsius is not uncommon. So it's important to be able to go from the heated yurt and the heated huts outside and then back again. And of course, during lodge stays as well, quite often they have their own viewing site. And we're quite excited also in the Yukon that we have a wide variety of accommodation. You won't see too many 5-star properties, but we have some great 3-star hotels. We now have the 4-star revenue, which is really nice. And a number of our lodges as well are of a 3 or 4-star standard. Of course, just some of our winter activities as well. Dog sledding is extremely popular. I think that's on one of our amazing lakes there. I think it might be even Fish Lake, actually. Snowshoeing and snowmobiling. And it's great as well. You can quite often do a combined product. So we're talking snowmobiling out onto the lake. Then the guide will actually drill into the ice and do some, then you can do some fishing. And they'll quite often light a fire as well and have some nice, hot cocoa. So it's a really great sort of multifaceted experience, which is really fantastic. And then, of course, snowshoeing is also quite an amazing activity, and you get to see a lot of things in the wilderness in the wintertime in the Yukon. There should be ice fishing there. Yukon Hot Springs, very close to Whitehorse. This is actually undergoing currently a significant renovation, really going to make it a really premium experience for all price points. And they'll include spa and wellness as well. I believe it is still completing the renovation, so I don't have a time yet when it will be ready, but I'm sure they will still have the hair freezing competition, which you can see there, will run when it opens again. Yukon Wildlife Preserve is also extremely popular. To some of the amazing Yukon wild animals there, including the bison, which is my favorite animal. In Whitehorse, we have glass blowing, which is also a really fun activity and artistic activity. And one of the other things about the Yukon is the amazing food. A lot of people don't necessarily realize that the Yukon has amazing food. We have lots of different restaurants, lots of different cuisines, lots of cool cafes, lots of cool bars. So it's a place you can go to and not just be there for the scenery and the wild animals and all the different natural experiences, but of course have some great food and so forth as well. As I mentioned before, Yukon can get very cold, and it's super important to remind your clients of that. We do offer winter clothing rentals, and we really recommend that you take advantage of that, because quite often the gear you can buy in Australia or even New Zealand is not actually going to be warm enough for the Yukon winter. It's fine for, skiing in Australia and New Zealand, but once you get to sort of minus 30 degrees Celsius of an evening when you're seeing the Northern Lights, it really, it really needs the next level of winter clothing. And of course, in the summertime, everything switches. So we can actually have almost 24 hours of daylight. And the summer temperatures can go from 15 to 35 degrees Celsius. So it's, very, very different in summertime, which is quite interesting. Lots of different hiking, biking, skiing trails within Whitehorse. Guided and unguided walks. It is very much a destination about adventure. Canoeing is also super popular, multi-day and half-day. One of the best ways to actually see the Yukon, I feel, especially if you only have limited time, is actually to do flight seeing. It's fantastic in winter or in summer, of course, and the other seasons as well. Another highlight is the White Pass Yukon route. I've done this a couple of times, and it's just, honestly, it's really fantastic. It takes you to Alaska through some of tremendous scenery and a route actually made famous by the Call of the Wild book and novel, and really takes, I guess, showcases some of the, the gold rush period of the Yukon, which is, very important for the Yukon history. As I mentioned, Yukon is home to, well, quite a few people, but much, much more animals. And you can see there all the different types of animals we do have, including the bear. I think that actually might be a grizzly, but don't quote me on that. And the caribou there as well. Beyond Whitehorse, Dawson City is incredibly, it's an amazing place to visit, steeped in history. You can fly there in an hour and 10 or drive as well, but I wouldn't recommend driving during winter time. Also, Klondike National Park is also a highlight, an hour 30 drive. We do a lot of driving itineraries in the Yukon. That's available on our website, various driving itineraries. We have various types of self-drive vehicles available for rent, RVs, vans, and also the four-wheel drives with the annexes and so forth. As I mentioned, Klondike National Park, 1.5 to 2 hour drive from Whitehorse, and also with Mount Logan, which is the highest peak in the Yukon, and in fact, one of the highest peaks in North America and the tallest in Canada. And that's one of the views when you're flight seeing, so it's really spectacular. Oops. There's another shot of the flight scene. Dawson City, that's, as I mentioned, it's in the north, going further north from Whitehorse. And it really is an amazing place to visit. it's, for me, it's one of definitely my highlights of visiting the Yukon. I've been to the Yukon quite a few times now, and it just really amazes me. You feel like you've stepped back into the Wild West. It's amazing. The whole town has this real kind of, you know, frontier aspect to it. It's just, it's quite an amazing place. That's essentially what all the speaks are like. They have saloons, they have, you know, lots of like eateries and restaurants, but really has this Wild West feel about it, which is really great. And of course, the Dawson City was the part of the Klondike Gold Rush. In fact, you could say it's pretty much the heart of the Klondike Gold Rush. So there's a lot of different historical and tours and so forth you can do as part of the Klondike Gold Rush. Just some other shots here of the Gold Rush, another shot of Dawson City, and some great walking tours as well you can do there, which is really fantastic. Diamond Tooth Gertie's, which is Canada's oldest casino, and it's not your typical casino. It's very much, again, stepping back into kind of the Wild West type story. We have a fantastic musical show, various dances and so forth. So it's something you can actually bring the whole family to. Also, Dawson City, which is the gateway to Tombstone Territorial Park, which is fantastic. And you can see there those sort of jagged mountain ranges. And it's available for multi-day hiking, also hiking for a day. There's also, you can have a fantastic experience just driving through Tombstone Territorial Park. I've been driving in the park and I saw a moose and 2 baby moose just by the roadside playing in a pool. It was fantastic and one of the highlights I've had. Some other shots there of Tombstone. And there we have it.